So hey everybody, it's Shelby Miller and I'm with Trisha Lutteroty again. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Billy Whitehead, who is with Fit Body Bootcamp. Billy, thank you for joining us today. Before I start asking you some questions, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your business? And obviously right now you're working virtually, but once you're back up and operating, what's your hours and all that kind of good stuff?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So yes, owner, operator of Quakertown Fit Body Bootcamp, located right off of 14th Street there. We specialize in 30-minute high-intensity interval training, obviously designed to burn fat and keep calories burning once you leave our facility for 24 to 48 hours. We're kind of mornings and afternoons, right? So our earliest one is 5 a.m. for the early birds.
Wow.
Yeah, 6:15, and it's actually one of our busiest ones and the most consistent with people because that's the time they make. 8 a.m. and then we have a 9:15, and then obviously we have in between there. That's for like more personal training stuff, and then back in the afternoon again we have afternoons 4:30, 5:30, and 6:10. So besides obviously the high intensity interval training, we specialize in nutrition, but the biggest thing that we're successful for is the accountability and making sure that your adherence to the program and progressing you through as you go on your weight loss journey. So that's kind of the small 30 seconds in overview of what we do to not, go too in depth. So
I have been a participant of Billy's Fit Body Bootcamp a couple of years ago, and when you say high intensity, it's highly intense. But he also, as a newbie walking in the door, you modify things for us so that way we become stronger as we're going.
Yes, it could be intimidating, but again, it's always like the first week's always a learning curve. We have a coach and a partner that you kind of pair up with to make sure you're okay. And then once you kind of get the ropes so your feet are wet, obviously you hit the ground kind of running then.
Yeah, literally running.
Right?
So, Billy, right now with people being stuck, staying in place, obviously maybe people are doing a lot more takeout because they don't like to.
Yeah.
And just having it delivered or curbside pickup. But for most of us, we're in our house and we're trying to not eat ourselves into a food coma. So yes. Suggestions or,
yeah. So
staying in shape while staying in place. Give us some suggestions.
Yes. So now that we're at home, obviously people, usually are not moving as much. The main thing that you want to really focus on is protein intake and making sure that's a little bit higher than normal. Now, obviously, numbers without confusing people, like you at least want to get 1 gram per pound of body weight, if not 1.5. So for instance, if you're a 150 pound person, you're at least trying to shoot for 150 grams of protein a day, if not a little bit more, recommend. And then obviously you're lowering your carb intake because again, we're sitting around a lot more than normal. So we're not burning energy. So, energy in, energy out, right? So if you're not going to be doing that, obviously it's going to be stored as body fat. So the main thing that we're focused on with our clients and telling friends, family is to really focus on obviously getting your protein intake a lot higher, at least every meal. And again, keeping it colorful, right? Veggies. If you are going to do carbs, you kind of want to sandwich it with your workouts. And what I mean by that is if you're working out in the morning and if you're an early bird and you don't want to eat, obviously recommending a post-workout would be like your bigger carb meal. And then nothing until later on at night with dinner. I don't want to get too confusing, but I always like to say like sandwiching your carbs between your workouts is always the easiest thing to do because that's when you're usually spending the most energy and that's when you're burning those calories. So you want to kind of do that timing. But for sure, I know it is hard. Obviously, water intake is going to be another big thing. We also try to set a timer with our clients like, hey, if you're sitting around every 30 minutes, at least get up, do something, or work for 60 minutes, take a 10-minute break, get outside, walk around. Right. So those are going to be like your top ones without getting too crazy in depth.
That's good for your mental health too. Just getting up and going outside for a couple minutes.
It is. And you need a routine, right? So obviously this is what the 5th week, I think we were saying.
Yeah.
So even if you need to write out your day, like just like you normally would, just plan it out. Like I know with kids, et cetera, it can be hard, but here's where I'm doing my workouts. Here I'm going to get up, go for a walk. Here's my meals. Here's what I'm planning. And it just takes kind of, your mental energy in there and you can kind of get everything done.
Right.
So protein recommendations, like what are some good high protein, because some protein can also have like a lot of fat, like butter has protein, but it's got a lot of fat as well. So, and everyone, chocolate and peanut butter.
Yes.
So what are some suggestions of some higher protein items that you might think would be good?
will be good, like especially like right now, because I know a lot of things could be gone right in the stores per se. So now it's definitely like obviously chicken's going to be the easiest thing to do. You can do numerous things with that. You can always go on Pinterest to get some ideas. Eggs is going to be another big one. I know that sometimes there's a lot of eggs in the store, sometimes there's not. Obviously with omelets, I mean, you can make hard boiled, you can chop them up, put them into salads, right? Things like that. Dairy is going to be another big one with your Greek yogurt. Cottage cheese is going to be kind of an easier one to do and an easier one to snack on. And then obviously like your fish and lean meats is going to be probably your top ones that usually people go for. Obviously you have fish, right? Things like that. If you like steak. So there's a lot of different ones to do. And what we're kind of doing now to make things easier for people is just to count the direct macros. So what I mean by that is, yeah, say steak, right? Steak does have fat in it, but right now we're just going to be counting the protein that's in steak to not make it too hard for people. Just like peanut butter, like I don't want to get, crazy, but peanut butter, we're going to consider that's a fat, right? I mean, it's 16 grams per serving. So we're not going to count the protein out. That's going to be counted as a fat. So it just makes things a little bit easier for people to kind of keep on track of hitting their goals. But definitely the chicken, your dairy, fish, steak, lean ground beef, even turkey is going to be like your easiest ones to go to for protein.
Do you have any recommendations for people that are vegetarians or vegans?
Yeah, so obviously that's going to be a little bit different. I would still like one of our coaches is vegan too, and she's more like the plant-based kind of things like that. I mean, I would stick to that. Just watch what you're doing with anything, because again, no matter what diet you're doing, right? As long as you're in a calorie deficit, right, you're going to lose weight. So that's just like how it goes. Because some people, keto, etc., whatever you want to.
Right. There's a million different things.
Yeah. Just watch, right, and monitor it. So.
Now, serving sizes in regards, we were having this conversation earlier. The whole wheat pasta.
Yeah.
Saying, have a half a cup, have a cup. Just don't have 3 cups. So.
Right.
If you don't have the means to actually measure your food, or you don't have a scale or whatever, are there different ways that you can kind of get an eye and glimpse at it?
Sure. So the easiest way to do what we do with clients too is using your hand. Now, obviously everybody's could be different hand sizes, but this is going to be the easiest one to do. So when you're doing kind of like a serving of protein, right, it's your palm. So almost like your fingers are cut off, right? So if you're going into it, if I'm a woman, I have 2 women on right now, right? So depending on your size, you might want to do 1 palm or right? Yeah. So the palm's roughly going to be about like 3 to 4 ounces, depending, and that's usually a good amount, right? Depending on your body size. Now, for me, a little bit bigger male, right, or husband, etc., significant other, they might go with 2 palms for your protein, right? Depending on, and again, this is how many meals are you having? Are you doing 3 meals a day? Or are you doing 6? And that's obviously you got to predicate how much you do, right? So if I'm doing only 3 meals a day, yeah, I might have 2 palm servings of protein. If I'm doing the 6, I might have just the 1 and it's spread out, right? Does that kind of make sense?
It does.
Now for the carbs, make it easier. It's almost like you're cupping your hand, right? And can you fit the cup in there, the pasta, the rice, etc.
Now a heaping cup?
Right. See, this is what, so this is kind of like where it's funny where it goes over, right? That's okay. As long as it's almost like, hey, can I fit it in here?
Right, I can fit it.
Yeah. Right, if you want to fit it in there and put it on. Now the fat's going to be like your thumb, right? So like if you're doing olive oil, peanut butter, etc. So that's kind of like what comes to like 1 tablespoon or so, a little bit more, depending on your, again, the thumb size. But that's going to be the easiest way to do it, is a palm for protein, a cup for the carbs, veggies too. We like to do veggies are unlimited, so by all means, like load up on that on your plate, right? And then the fat's going to be your thumb to kind of keep it as easy as possible.
And what do you think about fruits? Are fruits unlimited too, or because?
Yeah, so yeah, if you're gonna do the fruit, obviously still in your palm size hand, right? So it might be like 1 apple size, or half a cup berries. Banana, obviously, if you cut it in half, it's usually 2. So I would stick to like fruit, only like 1 to 2 servings. Again, everyone's different a day, but that's where people again don't want to get too complicated. It can go wrong, because at the end of the day, it still has sugar, and depending on how much you have, it still can be stored as fat. So I would stick to like the 1 or 2 servings of fruit a day.
Okay, so now next we're going to move over to exercise and getting physical. And if we had some participants today that joined us, we probably would be working out, but we don't want to have everybody watch Trisha and I work out. So we thought that we would just talk to you about different things that you can do at home. I know that with all of the gyms being closed and everything, people are going stir crazy. So suggestions.
They are. Yeah, so the easiest thing, obviously, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is at least trying to try to get like 5,000 steps if you can. Just like if you're working from home, again, 60 minutes on, 10 minutes, get outside, walk, walk around your house, go up and down the steps. I see Shelby has steps, right? So I would do that a few times. Now, the easiest thing to kind of do is just going to be regular full body workouts. And I kind of, for instance, that could be up downs or burpees, right? Jumping jacks, air squats, push-ups are usually going to be like the easiest thing in terms of, technicality. And then it's almost here. I'll show you kind of what I like to do if you have a whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard, it's easy to write it out. But an AMRAP. So for instance, what that means is as many rounds as possible. So let's just use 3 exercises for an example. I'm going to go with up down. So that could be burpees, right? Mountain climbers, and then air squats, right? So what I mean by that is you'd have like, say, for 3 minutes, and then you can pick a number. So to make things easier, hey, 10, 10, and 10. So I pick 3 exercises. I'm doing 10 reps of each, and I set a timer for 3 minutes, and I'm going to go continuously through those for 3 minutes. When I get to that 3 minutes, I'm going to take 1 minute break, right? And then I'm going to go through it again. So in essence, if you're at home and you have 5 rounds, it's, it equals 20 minutes, right? So that's a nice workout to do. I think that's the easiest to do at home. Or you can do, hey, I'm going to pick 5 exercises, and I'm going to do 1 of each. So for instance, burpees, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, and mountain climbers. So 1 rep each, I'm going to go through 50 times, 50 rounds, and I'll do that for time. And that might take you 20 minutes. So you can get kind of creative in that terms. But even what I also tell people too, if they don't want to do a full sitting of 20 minutes of workouts. So before you eat, say breakfast, lunch, dinner, you might do 10 burpees, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and 10 air squats. And then you'd eat. And then before the other meal, you kind of repeat the same process. So you're still doing, in essence, 50 plus rounds or so, but it's spread out. So that might be another option for people to do.
That's nice, because doing it all at once sometimes can be, especially if you're a beginner, can feel overwhelming.
It can.
But it's all body weight stuff.
Yeah. Now I do have, I'll show you guys. You can use stuff at home. Obviously I have equipment and stuff, but like usually the easiest thing to do, a regular backpack, right?
Okay.
So there's 2 now here's what I mean. Now we're getting technical, but there's 2 sizes here, right? So the bigger one, and again, you can load these book bags up to about, depending on how many books you put in, and it's weird. So here's a book, right? So you just add it in. Mm-hmm. I mean, usually like 40 pounds, 50 is the max, right? That's going to be pretty heavy. But again, you can use the book bags for basically anything. I mean, you can do curls with it. You can put it on your back. You can do squats, right? So
Nice.
Very versatile. Now, the good thing about if you want to, this is a smaller one, right? So the small one, now we're getting a little bit more technical. If you want to do, per se, kettlebell swings,
okay,
it's going to be a little bit nice because it's not going to hit the ground, right? So obviously you can pick and choose what you want to do, but the book bag is very nice. Even if you walk and you put some weight on it, that's burning more calories. But we've been doing that with our clients. Book bags are the easiest things, obviously.
Yeah, everybody has them laying around right now.
Yeah, right? And their kid stuff. Obviously, if you do have weights, etc., that's great. Obviously, right now it's kind of hard. It's funny because you literally can't order anything right now. But you, again, like we've said, you don't need, right? So as long as you're eating, healthy, 80% of the time, you're getting your workouts in and you're walking, like you should get out of this, the same, if not maybe a little bit less body fat.
Awesome.
And I know you said to work out after, or would you say after you eat? So is that normally people don't eat and then they work out? Is that how you recommend it?
So I would do kind of again, it depends like your schedule. But I always like to try to have like my bigger meals predicated around like my workout time. So for instance, if I'm doing the morning, I might have a little snack, oatmeal, some egg whites, and then I'll kind of have a bigger meal after that with more of the, sweet potato, a little bit bigger. But if that's fine too. If you need to work, you sandwich it, but if you do eat, you can still work out a little bit later. Everyone's different of how they do things. As long as you're eating healthy, you're getting your per se max and you're moving, you should be okay and drinking plenty of water. And right.
How much water do you recommend to drink a day?
So the easiest thing is, at least to start, is at least going to be like half your body weight in ounces. That's just generic, but obviously you should be getting more. But like as a starter, let's just shoot for that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You should be trying to get a gallon a day if you can, but that could be hard for people. So as long as you have I'd recommend even like a bigger water bottle. Some have huge jugs, and just continually try to drink that and try to go through the whole thing and continuously fill it up almost to where you're kind of sick of drinking it and
Yeah.
all the time. Right. So,
Well, and water intake counts in other things besides actually drinking water, right?
oh yeah. Yeah. So that's going to help with losing weight too, right? Now I'm getting technical, but if you would drink a nice 8-ounce cold water before you eat a meal, you eat a little bit less too, obviously with recovery and things like that, hygiene, etc. So water is a huge thing, and as well as helping lose weight. Yeah.
Awesome. So Trisha, do you have any other questions for Billy?
I don't think so.
All right. So Billy, if people want to get in touch with you and learn more about your programs, or connect with you virtually, because you're doing classes right now virtually for your clients, correct?
We are. Yes, we're still doing the same thing, personal training with clients with kind of Zoom and things like that, and also nutrition help as well. So we're still doing it all. It's just we're in a virtual setting now.
Fantastic. So why don't you give us the information of your phone number, your email address, and your website, and then we'll sign off.
So the easiest way to kind of get in touch with us is going to Facebook, our fan page, which is Quakertown Fit Body Bootcamp, sending us a direct kind of message, private message, and then we can obviously sync up from there. Myself or one of the coaches will reach out to you. Obviously, you can also email us. So email is bill@quakertownfbbc.com if you have any kind of other questions and things like that. And the phone number 215-536-5961. And again, here to help. Offering a ton of value, anything we can try to do to help people get through this on the other side. So
that's
Billy,
great.
thank you so much for taking the time
Sure.
to talk with us, and we're going to try this again on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So those of you that are watching this, if you want to try and get fit with Billy, you do not have to have your video camera on. If you don't want to be seen, you can laugh at Trisha and I while we try to keep up with what Billy's going to be teaching us. But we'll just do like maybe a 10-minute quick workout with you, or have you show us some different moves so that we know the proper way to do that, so that when we're doing up and downs and all this stuff on our own, we know that
Don't hurt ourselves.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for your time, Billy. And
Yes, thanks for having me.
have a great day.
See you guys.
Bye.